talk about assembling the cuts in the ROV frame. So for the tether, this is what provides both the power and the support for the ROV. We are using the speaker wire that came in your kit to attach to the motors, and these will power the motors. We have a modification though, that instead of using the wire that they provided for the camera and lights, we're using instead sprinkler wire. And this is what's going to power the camera and the lights. So the first thing you need to do is spool out all of the wire and start making one long strand. And instead of tying this together with cable ties, as is suggested in your kit, we're going to instead use this cable wrap. The dimension of this is about 5/8 of an inch, and we found that this is actually a lot easier for assembling the tether, and it also provides a little bit of buoyancy. Alright, so let's get started. You want to help me unspool these? Set them here on the table. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the 3 different speaker wires, and we're going to put them together with the sprinkler wire into one big cluster. And then we'll start attaching the cable wrap. We're going to leave a few inches, maybe up to a foot, of extra wire at the end so that we have enough flexibility for attaching to the motors and other things. So this part is really fun, where you just wrap the cable wrap around, and you want to go all the way out and use all 50 feet of your speaker wire. So this will take you a few minutes, maybe up to half an hour, depending on how many hands you have helping. But you want to go all the way down. You want to take care to make sure that the whole tether is protected and that there aren't any loops or knots or anything like that in the wire, any of the wires. So just keep working your way down. We cut off little bits of the cable wrap to make it easier, because if you had a big piece it'd be flopping all over the place. But you just keep on going, and then when you get to the end of this piece, then you just cut off another piece with some scissors or some snips and just keep going. Work your way down the whole length of this 50-foot spool. You'll probably have a little bit of extra sprinkler wire left over. That's okay. When you get to the end of this spool, just hold them all out together. These 3 should all be the same length, and the black one may be a little bit longer. Take your snips or something else and cut the black wire to be the same length. And again, when you get to that end, you don't need to wrap the whole end, because you want to leave a little bit of flexibility for connecting either to the control box or for connecting to the ROV. When this is all assembled, then we'll be connecting this to the back of the ROV. And again, it'll provide power and also some support for the ROV. So after you've finished putting on the cable wrap, your tether should end up looking something like this. It'll be about 50 feet of coil. And I want to point out to you what we're looking at here. So at the end of the tether, we have the 3 lines that are the speaker wire, which will be connected to the motor. So each one of these wires will then be connected to the back end of the motor, and this will provide the power for each of the different motors on the ROV. The sprinkler wire, if you look closely on the inside, you'll have to cut away a little bit of the black plastic. You'll see 5 different wires in there. 2 of these will be connected to the power in the control box. 2 of these will be used for the video feed for the camera, and then there'll be 1 additional wire. And just again to point out to you why this piece is so important, we're going to be connecting this to the ROV, and this is going to provide all the power and also the video feed for the ROV. So without this piece, nothing happens with the ROV underwater. So this part is very important, and it's also your connection to the ROV for moving it around.